Alrighty, friends. So today we're going to be talking about cognitive flexibility in trading. I broke today's lesson into two parts: understanding cognitive flexibility in trading, so what it is, a definition and whatnot. And then part two is going to be strategies to enhance cognitive flexibility. And the reason we're talking about this today is because if we have a firm technical understanding of how to trade properly, and we are still not profitable or consistent, the reason behind that is almost always going to be your perception, your mental ability, and your discipline to understand and move forward in a way that is beneficial to you and stack your systems and set up your habits in a way that truly is promoting success. So the reason why cognitive flexibility fits into this is because if you have the same headspace that you have right now, where you're unsuccessful, yet you still have a firm grasp of the strategy that we're teaching here, or how to navigate futures, and your risk management plan is on point, but you're not positive, or I should say not consistently positive, your mental perspective on this is not where it should be, right? Whether it's your discipline, whether it's X, Y, or Z, there can be 1,000 reasons why you're not where you want to be, but it mostly revolves around psychological aspects. So I want to give you guys actionable tools to get out of that headspace and move into a headspace that will promote success and consistency and profitability in this market. So that's my goal here. It's going to be a concise lesson, but we have to get out of that rigid mindset where we're stuck, where we're not improving, and be able to move and adapt into a beneficial way. So that's why this stuff is so important. And I bring up cognitive flexibility in CBT quite often, is because how important it is to get out of that headspace and get into something good. So without further ado, folks, let's jump into it. Oh, sorry, one more point. If at any time you guys have questions, comments, concerns, whatever it might be, I'm here for you guys. So stop me in the chat, or just reach out, whatever it might be, and I'll be sure to get back to you. So part one, understanding cognitive flexibility in trading. So the definition of cognitive flexibility in trading refers to the ability to adapt thinking and behavior in response to changing environments or unexpected challenges. So again, we're just talking about adaptability, like how are we going to change our perspective from essentially a losing mindset right now, not on a theology level. We're talking about on an objective level, like how we are losing trades and we're not consistent. So how do we get out of that losing mentality and into something that's beneficial? So in volatile markets, rigid thinking can lead to poor decision making, and obviously flexibility is what allows us to adapt and move our risk management plan, make analytical decisions based on the technical analysis that we know how to do. And so let's just try to get out of that rigid mindset. So embracing cognitive flexibility helps you stay calm under pressure and make informed adjustments during market fluctuations. Yeah, we get it. So that's the entire goal here. So how do we identify this stuff? How do we move forward in an actionable way where we can actually take steps? So when doing that, we have to talk about identifying these rigid thought patterns. So some examples of these rigid thinking patterns are overcommitting to a failing trade. So oftentimes we'll set ourselves up for a 2-to-1 trade, and you see a technical break. Let's say it's a break market structure, which you were not expecting when you entered the trade. And when that would occur, if you weren't in the trade, you would typically say to yourself, if there's a break market structure, I'm getting out of this trade. That's not what I'm looking for as far as price action goes. Yet when your money is involved and that break in market structure happens, you sit there and cross your fingers and say, I'm just going to hold on to this trade. I don't want to cut it early, and I want to watch it either hit my stop loss or go all the way to completion. And that can be a dangerous place to be. And I'm not saying, that's there's no objective answer to that of whether or not you should get out of the trade. It's so dependent based on scenario and the market conditions and what your risk management parameters are. What I'm saying is, if we need to be viewing this stuff on a very technical level, and if we allow any emotions to step into that, and we're in this rigid headspace of, every time I get into a trade, my emotions overwhelm me. I start making less technical decisions, and I make more and more decisions based off of my emotions and what I'm feeling. It's a really dangerous place to be, and that's the rigidity that we're talking about mentally, that we have to start to adapt and choose that flexible mindset and truly look at this stuff like, hey, this is my risk parameters going into this trade. If any of these things happen, I'm getting out. If things go this way, and this way, I'm staying all the way to full TP, and you have to stick to that plan. Because if you start saying that you're going to do something and you fail to do it, one is setting yourself up for failure in trading, but also in every other aspect of your life on a broader perspective. Like when you say you're going to work out or stick to a diet or do this thing for your spouse that you've said you would do for the past couple of weeks, whatever it might be, that's a really dangerous spot to put yourself in, and a really, really bad habit to develop. So we have to get used to developing discipline daily. It's not just this switch that you flip on and all of a sudden you're disciplined. I found it. I take cold plunges. I'm disciplined now. That's not how it works. You have to stay disciplined in every single aspect. Every decision that you come in contact with, you have to be disciplined in that. And so moving forward, I hope you guys just keep that in the back of your mind. When it comes to trading, there's no different than any other skill set you're trying to develop in life, whether it's communicating with your loved ones or your diet or your workout schedule or your trading. You have to have a deep understanding of your fundamental aspects of things, like your technical analysis, your risk management plan. Yes, we know this. I'm here. Everybody's here to help you with that. If you don't have that in place, that's the first thing you need to do. So either come to me, come to Jojo, come to Braden. We'll get you the resources, or talk to anyone in here. We'll get you set up on that side of things. But it is your choice. Once you have all that understanding and that knowledge, it is then your choice to make that decision to stick to that plan, no matter what happens. So that's what I'm trying to get you guys. And I know that sounds a little counterintuitive or counterintuitive when we talk about, rigidity and flexibility mentally. But, the rigidity comes from that losing mindset of where you are undisciplined. The flexibility is where discipline comes into play. And that's what we need to be doing here. Again, any questions, thoughts, concerns, let me know. So rigid thinking can lead to emotional decisions, missed opportunities, increased losses. Yep. So a practical tip, like on how to identify your rigid thinking patterns, and we all have them. Theologians across time have talked about how our subconscious is the true driver of why we do what we do, bringing subconscious thoughts and thought patterns and emotions, whatever it might be, to a conscious level is how we are going to best move forward in an actionable way that is benevolent for, what we do. How do we do that? Journaling. I know I say it all the time, and you guys are probably sick of me hearing it or me saying it, but this stuff does matter, and it is one of the best ways that we know how to bring that subconscious to a conscious level. It's like, write this down. Why do I keep falling down on my trading plan? When I say I committed to sticking to the plan, I committed to staying to 2 micros, and I blew my account, and I immediately went and bought another account. Ask yourself, why are you doing that? Bring that stuff out of the subconscious realm and put it right at the forefront of your mind. Like, why am I doing the things that I'm doing? And that's what will separate you from everybody else who tries to develop this skill set that is so cognitively, you need so much sustenance in your mind to be able to trade professionally and at a high level. There's so much that comes with it, and there's so much discipline and so much time that you have to invest into this skill set to become what you want to become. And most people join this stuff in these communities expecting for to learn the technical side of things, and then all of a sudden I'm good to go. Yep, I have the knowledge, I'm good to run with it. And that's not how it works. It's why so many people fail over and over and over again. So this is so cognitively demanding, I just need you guys to be aware of that, because that understanding is where the understanding of how hard this is really gives me, confidence and a little bit of hope when, I still make mistakes in my trading. I'm a risk management coach, and I still make mistakes when it comes to risk management. But it is that constant improvement, that 1% better every single day of trying to optimize and perform at a higher level. And that's where the flexibility, this cognitive flexibility that we're talking about, is so important. If you are stuck, lacking discipline, and not changing your perspective, not doing anything different, how in the hell do you think you're going to become successful in this? It won't happen. It will not happen no matter how many hours you put into this. If you are not improving, if you're not getting better 1% every day. And I'm not saying that you won't have bad days. That's not at all what I'm saying. What I'm saying is when you come to those failures, or those losses is a better word for them, look at them in a way of like, how do I structure this to where I can learn from it? And, we're going to talk about that here shortly. Shadow work. Yep. 100%. That training's hard. So I'm going to seesaw mode. Yeah. Well, as long as you are starting to stack one side of that seesaw more and more every single day, put that pebble in your pocket over and over and over again to start to tip the scales towards those good habits. That's how you find that long-term success. And then it becomes exponential. It really does become exponential. As far really anything you do, like truly anything. Same thing with investing. Like as soon as if you guys don't have a Roth IRA account, you guys should absolutely set that up. But think about the compound investment. If you start at 18 years old with that, and now it's $7,000 a year, looks like at 60,000 or 60 years old, you move from a couple $100,000 invested in that exponential gains is unbelievable. It's just like any skill set, folks. I just really hope you guys are starting to understand how much discipline and how big the psychological aspect is behind this trading stuff. So part 2 is cognitive reframing exercises. Like how do we start to implement this stuff? So cognitive reframing involves shifting perspectives to view challenges as opportunities or neutral events, which I alluded to earlier. So this is an exercise for us. So after a losing trade or whatever it might be, something you blow an account, doesn't matter. Whatever you have typically viewed as a setback or something that isn't bringing you closer to your goals, we have to reframe that. And I really encourage you guys to list 3 lessons learned or potential adjustments that you can make for future trades. So every single time you take a loss, have a pen and paper on your trading desk and write down, okay, I did this. My technical analysis was on point. This was on point. This was on point. I could have done this a little bit better. I'm going to work on that next time. Or maybe it's an A+ setup and everything goes right and you just got manipulated out and you lost. That's okay too. Sit there and look at it. How can I view this as a positive? How can I take this and improve from this loss? Even though I did everything right, it just didn't work out. And then being able to shift your perspective from these short-term gains, looking at this as, if I don't make money this week or I don't make money this month, what the hell am I doing here? Why do I keep losing X, Y, and Z? None of that's beneficial. What is beneficial is starting to broaden that perspective and say, I can sit here and reflect and smile at this loss, knowing that this is part of my curriculum. This is part of the game. This is going to happen to the best of the best. And this is just part of my journey. And I say that because sometimes there are perfect trades and they just don't work out. But for the majority of the time, there are actionable lessons to be learned from your trading mistakes that we should be actively improving on. And journaling is just a really powerful way to bring that to the forefront of your mind and, take steps to improve. So again, recap, I encourage you guys after every trading loss just to write down 1 or 2 things, potentially 3 things on how you can improve in the future or lessons that you learned from this loss. And just doing that and forcing a smile onto your face when that happens is so powerful. You won't realize until you start to implement it. And then you'll look back 3 months from now and be like, holy crap, this is what changed the game for me. This is why I'm now getting cash outs. And truly, it's really small things like that. It's just, again, it comes down to your systems. How well do you have your system set up for you in place? If you're running a big company, for say, and your management sucks, most of your employees suck, and the equipment you use to actually manufacture the stuff is on the fritz all the time. How do you think that is supposed to function? Your company is supposed to profit and become functional. It's not going to do that. You have to view your trading, even though this may be a very individual journey, you have to view everything that you do as an employee, a management position, or a system that you need to set up in a way that is constantly making you improve. And so if you are not journaling, if you're not getting your head right before you trade, if you're continually making the same mistakes over and over again without having that cognitive flexibility to say, you know what, this is not beneficial, I need to change something, I need to be trying to measure this, I need to be trying to bring awareness to my mistakes, you're setting yourself up for failure, and it's not going to run the same way that company won't run efficiently. Just talking about that one more time, the cognitive reframing involves shifting your perspective to view challenges as opportunities for growth. And that just builds a growth mindset, instead of that rigid mindset where, we all know it, whether we want to agree that it's us or not. Maybe it's not, but we've all seen people where you may not have the ability to articulate it well, but you see their actions and what they do, and you're just like, man, like I want the best for that person, but they just have such a losing mentality, like just really bad headspace. And that's an example of rigid thinking. That's an example of not having the cognitive flexibility to try to improve on every aspect of your life, one small step at a time. And sometimes you are going to have those pushbacks where life just rolls over, but you have to get back up. And I know it's so cheesy and elementary, but I love that stuff because it's so true. That stuff is so true. So get rid of that losing mentality and start to view these setbacks as opportunities for growth. It's just so powerful to do that stuff. So last thing I want to leave you guys with is talking about stress testing. When I was first writing this up, I was going to talk about stress testing as far as, what you find the most benefit in as far as risk parameters and whatnot, but it was more technical, and I believe that this lesson is definitely more focused on the psychological aspect of stuff. And so I still want to talk about stress testing. So I just want, and I've talked about this often, I just want you guys to ask yourself, when you sit down at the computer, how much anxiety and worry does trading bring you? If it's on the higher end of your daily activities, you need to take a step back and really gain some or broaden your perspective to understand that this is not what life is. Trading is not the culmination of what matters in life. Having that broader perspective, and I know you guys do, you very much so understand that, your relationships, your family, sustainment for you and your loved ones is more important than any of this. But if you're not thinking about that stuff and you just sit down and you haven't done anything hard during your day or even the last week, couple months, whatever it might be, if you're really just making yourself as comfortable as possible, and then you sit down and you have all these real primal emotions come out, like fear is a big one, and greed alike, when trading, that's going to be the hardest part of your day. And if you're undisciplined in all these other aspects of your life, it's just going to be overwhelming. Like you sit down and really, like, this is the hardest thing that you do in your life. Yeah, of course, this is going to be really, really tough to make analytical, technical based decisions in real time when your money's at stake and things are just firing and you're really leaving all that stuff in subconscious and you're kind of pushing it away. You're just like, I don't know why I keep failing over and over and over again. But all these free tools like journaling and asking yourself these questions, you have nothing to lose by trying them. And, also back to the stress test thing, I just want you guys to truly challenge yourselves. When we talk about, this potentially being the hardest part of your day, that should not be the hardest part of your day. You have to be physically exerting yourself. And even if you have physical ailments, and I pray for you, I hope you do get better, but that's not that was never promised in life, and that will never be promised, that we have just this, picture perfect life. Things happen, and it's hard, but you have to push yourself as best as you can. And if it's not physically, it has to be mentally. But I encourage both to do something hard. And for me, something like that is cold showers in the morning, to hit that dopamine, to get that adrenaline going ASAP, because I really don't want to do that when I'm in my warm comforter and I have to make that decision to get up. And then going to the gym and doing resistance training or cardio or whatever it is that you don't want to do, but it's beneficial. And I just want to talk about that stress testing, like pushing yourself. And, once you're under that stress at certain times of the day, whether it's working out or in the cold shower, you're then able to, one, what it feels like. You know what it feels like to be stressed, high adrenaline, all these chemicals rushing through your bloodstream. And then you can focus on your breath. And then you can start to really have a good understanding and develop the skill set of being able to perform cognitively, and you're on point when all these emotions come up and these adrenaline spikes and whatever it might be, so that when you do sit down at the trading computer, and if you do struggle with high emotions and stress and worry, and you keep making the same mistakes over again, you know how to handle it now. You've gone through the stress. You've gone through the stress this morning. So when you sit down, like, I just need to take a couple of my deep breaths and I'm going to be able to move forward this better. I'm not saying it's going to be the end all be all, and all of a sudden when you start taking cold showers or doing something hard, you're going to become profitable. No, but it is something that will help. I can promise you that. And so that's my encouragement to you guys. It's these little things. It's the stacking of your habits, the optimization of the systems that you have in place is what is really going to bring you success. Otherwise, you're going to keep blowing accounts, you're going to keep failing, and you're going to view, I shouldn't say failing, you're going to keep losing, and you're going to view those losses as failures. And that's not how you should be thinking about this stuff. We need to view those setbacks as, valuable lessons and opportunities to grow and learn from what you're doing. Because if not, that's that rigid mindset. That's that losing mentality, and you're going to be stuck there until you make the conscious decision to change out of that rigid mindset and to move into something more flexible and more adaptable and more beneficial for your trading career and your life as a whole. So that's what I got for you guys today. I know risk management, sometimes we balance between technical stuff and psychological stuff, but yeah, I definitely felt today should be a day for the psychological side of things. So if you guys have questions, comments, concerns, now is the time. Reach out. If not, bid you farewell and send you on your day. Let's see what I've got. Evan, I have a broken back. I still get up and work and go to the gym. I would love to lay on the couch, but it doesn't help any. Absolutely, man. That's awesome. I'm glad you have that perspective. Just my side of things. This is just an example to help you guys potentially for someone in that similar position. I'm not, crying for attention or whatever. But I went through quite a few physical setbacks in my life, especially during Army training and whatnot. I had some bad falls and some injuries, and I have a torn disc in my L5S1, and it's pretty bad. It herniates every couple months if I do something bad. Some nerve damage in my neck. There's lots of little stuff that is all over, and it's really easy for me to sit back and just kind of like, oh well, all these guys going to the gym, like they have really good genetics, they never got hurt, it's easy for them to go out and do that stuff. It's easy for me to get stuck in that headspace and not do something beneficial, but I know it's not the right thing to do. And doing the hard thing is what I know is beneficial for me, not only now but in the long term especially. And that's the type of person I want to be. And when I'm struggling, like, I just truly do think about the person I want to be. And I don't have to be that person right now, but I know that the person I want to be would go work out. They would go take that cold shower. So I just do that, essentially acting, faking it till you make it. But on a physical and real note, the strengthening really does help. And I'm sure you know that too, Evan. Like my lower back, that was firing up every couple weeks. And, it was bad. Like it would put me out for a couple days. And then that continuing to strengthen and open up my hips and legs and stretch. And then in culmination with that, training core, not abs, but everything, your core, your rectors, your obliques, the 9 yards and really doing positive steps to do that, that strength training really, really does help. So if you guys are struggling with ailments and you haven't been to the gym in a couple years or a couple months or whatever it might be, just know that getting weaker is not going to help you. I can promise you that. Strengthening is sometimes the only way to find relief and benefit for chronic pain. So just try that stuff out. I mean, do it safely, but definitely try that stuff out. Thanks for sharing that, Evan. Love this. When you hear it today, you're always going to target. Thanks, Honest Money. Awesome chat, John. Thank you. Do cold showers, plunges. Plunges are a little easier for me, but during the winter it feels impossible. Oh yeah, you're in Arizona. The not too crazy down there, but I totally get it. That the cold plunges for me are tough. I used to do them every day after work up at my father's cattle ranch, and there's a creek that runs with all snow runoff, and holy crap, after work, like getting in there was like, woo, gets you going, that's for sure. Good stuff. Easy to find yourself in a downward spiral, especially in very poor market conditions. Nice splash in the face, wake up call, super necessary for a warped mind. Appreciate your lessons and support. Absolutely, man. I appreciate the kind words. I truly do. You guys are the ones who keep me wanting to do these lessons, and me teaching this stuff, it helps me too. So it's, I'm from no pedestal here, but I love to learn. I love to encourage others and make this stuff happen. Yeah, that's for sure. That's for sure, Sunshine. Well, yeah, folks, I mean, this stuff's important. So I hope you guys are, incorporating some of this stuff. And if you guys ever need me, my DMs are always open. I usually respond within 24 to 48 hours. Get everything taken care of. So appreciate you guys tons. Go do something hard today. When you do find yourself in the future, because we inevitably will find yourself in that, poor mindset or you're kind of feeling a little rigid, locked up, take a moment to journal, take a moment to say, you know what, I'm not going to trade tomorrow. I'm going to take some time for myself. I'm going to go work out, go do something hard, and come back the next day. Even if the market conditions aren't good, my mentality is going to be much better. And that's the steps that it takes to, know yourself and know how to improve as a trader. So that stuff's important. Appreciate you guys tons, and I hope you have a fantastic day.